Now, you may not know this, but architects and engineers offer a tremendous amount of value during the construction, long after the drawings are completed, just as a general contractor can offer a lot of value during the design process. In today's video, we are covering construction administration services, what value it offers, and how it can save you money as an owner. If you're new here, my name is Jacob Wimsatt with C.w. Architects in Nashville, and welcome to the studio. Let's jump into it. Here at the firm, our team has put together a project starter kit. This is a series of documents to help you through your next project. If that's something that you're interested in, go and sign up for our newsletter. Hope to see you there. The main thing about construction administration services is it's simply keeping your design team on during the construction process. Now, the goal of that whole service is really just to get your project built. At the end of the day, we want to help the contractor and you realize your dream. So having us on board is going to be important to do that. And the reason for that is because no one knows your building better than your architect on day one of construction. Now, as the construction process progresses, your general contractor will ultimately have more knowledge than the architect. But it takes several months to understand and digest all the information that's on the drawings. And it also, that person needs to, the general contractor needs to communicate all that information to the suppliers, the folks that are bringing the products to the construction site, and all the subcontractors that are actually putting all the stuff together. Now, if the builder isn't as familiar with that as the architect, you're going to have misinterpretations between all these different folks. So the main point of construction administration is to have the person on the team during construction, or at least the beginning part of construction, that knows the most about the project. And this comes in several different forms and several different subservices, and we're going to go through those. Okay, so let's break down what subservices are in construction administration services. Again, construction administration services is the service that the design team, mainly the architect, puts in place to help the contractor and the owner get through the construction process. And the main point of this is by eliminating or virtually eliminating drawing misinterpretations. So in order to understand the subservices, we have to understand where those misinterpretations happen the most. And the first place that they happen is with the suppliers. So as a general contractor, they are putting together an entire team to not only put the project together, but to bring all the products to the job site. Those folks that are bringing the products to the job site are the suppliers. The suppliers are the truss company, the lumber company, the folks that are putting the trusses together, and then it's also the window and door manufacturers. It's all sorts of folks that are actually providing the products, both custom products and non-custom products, having them delivered to the site and being able to put them up. Now, a lot of times what happens is that if they're actually manufacturing a custom product, like for example a floor truss or a set of trusses, they are actually taking our drawings and the structural engineering drawings, and they're creating trusses based upon those drawings, based upon the layout, based upon the load-bearing walls, all of that information that's in the drawings. They're creating a custom truss that fits that specific design. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to create what we call shop drawings, a set of drawings that takes the drawings, the design from the home or from the townhouse or from the condo or whatever we're putting together, whatever the project is. They're taking that overall design, the architectural and structural, and they're creating more detailed drawings that are specific to the truss. That way the folks in the factory can put the truss together. So there's a translation that happens between the drawings, the architectural drawings and the structural drawings that the person is going through to convert it to shop drawings. Now, if we're a part of the construction administration process, we would be called upon to review those shop drawings and see that they're in compliance with our drawings. Now, ultimately, the general contractor is responsible for this. The shop drawings get sent to the general contractor for approval. Having your design team on the project during construction, that general contractor will then take those drawings and submit them to the architect for their approval. So you have a network or a chain of folks that are reviewing the drawings to check and make sure that they're in compliance with the overall design. Now, the architect's going to take, in this case, when it comes to truss drawings, they're going to take those drawings and send them to the structural engineer for a review. So the structural engineer, the architect, and the general contractor are all going to review the shop drawings before they put the before they put the trusses together. This allows us to eliminate or virtually eliminate errors in the field. Now, things get missed all the time, even on the design side. But when I've reviewed shop drawings before, I have never not seen errors and mistakes that had to be repaired. But repairing them on site is a lot more expensive than repairing them before they even get built. Okay, so the second service that's in construction administration services is what we call submittal, review, and approval. So essentially what happens is during the design process, we are putting together not only the drawings, but the specifications as well. The specifications can include things like the specific product or model number of the sheathing or of the tie-back or weather barrier, whatever products that the architect or the design team are recommending that they use is actually put in the specifications. And sometimes contractors want to substitute those. The reason for this is because of cost, perhaps, or maybe they just like to use a specific product over another. The point here is that this service allows them the opportunity to substitute one product for another without compromising the contract, which is the specifications and the drawings. And essentially what we do is we receive a cut sheet or a very specific piece of information about the product they want to substitute. We review that product, comparing it to the drawings, and then we either approve or disapprove that they can use that product and it maintain that same quality level in the design, whatever the specifics of that are. Now, sometimes it's a cost savings, but there is maybe a decrease in value in terms of the protection it offers, the new product offers, or whatever it is, whatever the specifics are. There is a decrease in value or a decrease in quality that is associated with that. And what we would simply do is just share that information with the owner, just telling them that these are the pros and cons. This is the product that we specified. The reason for that is X, Y, and Z. This doesn't meet the quality standards that we came up with for these reasons. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the owner is the person that's going to decide whether we use that product or not. Here at C.W. Architects, we are always looking for new ways to create content to help folks through the design and construction process, even if we're not a part of the team. We believe that this will ultimately lead to a better built environment. If you're interested in that kind of thing, if you're interested in knowing more about the design and construction process, we've put together what we're calling the Project Starter Kit. This is a series of documents that we will send you just for signing up for the newsletter. Go and check that out on our website. Hope to see you there. Okay, so the next service, the next sub-service that I wanted to talk about is actually the biggest one and probably the most important, is site observations. Site observations are simply visits that the design team, most of the time the architect, sometimes the architect will call on some of the engineers to come and do a site observation. This is just simply a visit to the site to compare what's being done versus what's on the drawings. Sometimes the interpretations happen at the supplier level and sometimes they happen at the subcontractor level. Site visits are an important place to kind of find misinterpretations in the field that the subcontractors have just missed or the general contractors have just missed. Sometimes these are very simple, sometimes these are very complicated. Again, it goes back to the same thing that I said earlier, is that the architect and the design team know the project more than anybody else. And a lot of times when I walk the job site, it's just little things that got missed, or there's a note on the drawings that it's kind of like this fine print that's on the drawings that just got missed. So the point of the site observations is just to walk the site and compare what's there versus what's not. And not only that, but there are issues that come up. Nobody's perfect. The design team isn't perfect. Issues come up and need to be resolved. I do them all the time. Things come up that was not foreseen by the design team and they need to be thought through. The site observations is a good opportunity to not only do that, not only document things, but also to provide that feedback, and to eventually it's going to make us do our design better. Again, it's this kind of teamwork effort that kind of benefits everybody. Now, the site observations that we typically do or that we recommend is going to be kind of a weekly site visit, site observation, or maybe do it twice a month. And usually it's at like the foundation, and then doing some at the steel, and then doing some at the framing level, maybe a few at the wood framing level. There's some that include the windows and doors, moisture protection. We would like to be involved a little bit at each stage of the process, and that usually makes for a better project. At the end of that, we coordinate with the general contractor, and we report any discrepancies to the owner. Now, sometimes general contractors have a little bit of an issue with this. Some of my best general contractors love this. They want us to be involved in it, especially if it's a more complex project. They want us to give them feedback and help them along that process. Some general contractors are very resistant to this because they feel that it's critiquing their work, or it's getting in the way. And although that may be true for some instances, I find that most of the time the site visits are extremely productive, and they ultimately help the general contractor as much as the owner get through a specific process. And sometimes it's just having third-party feedback. As a general contractor, you get into these kind of discrepancies or these kind of issues, these gray areas with your subcontractors. And a lot of times having a third party like an architect or a design team to come in and interpret the drawings and show where these specific interpretations are, these specific notes or specific specifications are in the drawings, helps the general contractor communicate to the subcontractor. So this is meant, at least for my firm, I don't know about for every architecture firm, but for my firm, my architecture firm, it's really important that this stays a team effort, and this team effort ultimately is what makes projects very successful. Here at C.W. Architects, we believe that putting together content and helping folks through their next project is ultimately going to create a better built environment. Our team has put together a project starter kit to help you through your next project. All you got to do is go up and sign up for our newsletter, and we will send you a series of documents to help you through that process. I hope to see you there. Okay, so we covered site observations, we covered we covered substitutions, we covered the submittals, we covered all the stuff, all the sub-services within construction administration services. So I hope this helped you understand what types of things are going on during construction, why it's so important to have your design team, or at least consider your design team during the construction process. And again, it's because we know the most information about the project so early on. Now, the general contractor is going to eventually know more than we do about this specific project. And I've said this to almost every client, the most important relationship you have is with your general contractor. So it's important to keep that relationship strong. And ultimately, it is our responsibility to help them and help you interpret the drawings, interpret this set of documents that we've created. That way, not only you save money, not only do things go much more smoothly than otherwise, but you keep a strong relationship with your general contractor, and hopefully the general contractor keeps a strong relationship with the subs, because we're catching all this stuff, we're catching these misinterpretations, we're thinking through it, planning long before the ground is broken and we start putting in foundations. So construction administration services, keep it at the top of mind as you make your way through the design process. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you and have a great day.